love it. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, it works really well. Apparently. I have problems with my just legs healing and stuff like that anyway, so it just helps it. Yeah.
Let me send this. Copy link.
What was that?
You use my phone.
Oh, no. No, I don't. Well, I could use it, probably get it down here. Can you remind me? I don't think I brought my phone. I'll have to suffer without it for like an hour or so. Yeah.
From Shauna. Nice to meet you.
I love sad song so much, so much, so much, so much. Oh, I love it so much. How lucky are we that we get to take a pause, a sacred pause, from all the apparent appearances and all the apparent notifications and all the apparent sounds. How wonderful that this piece isn't dependent on anyone doing something right. How sweet that this piece that is, I love that quote. I can't remember who said the quote. I feel like everyone said the quote. This is what every heart says. All is well, and all is well, and all manner of things shall be well. All is well, and all is well, and all manner of things shall be well. All is well, and all is well, and all manner of things shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. We used to do a cover of Bob Marley's Three Little Birds. And I used to always say before the song started, every little thing is going to be all right. You know how we know that every little thing is going to be all right? You know what's a good clue that every little thing is going to be all right?
It already is.
Because it already is all right. We allow ourselves to be where we are. Already is all right. And this is a sweet invitation of satsang. It's a sweet honoring all the things we do, all the things we be, all the everything, all the waking up in the morning, all the deadlines and the timelines, all the dreams, all the creative intent, all the work and all the work and all the work and all the groups of people that come together to work, all the visions, all the harmony, all the everything, the chaos. And in this moment, in celebration of all of that, to honor all of that, to rest as the wholeness that is. To rest in the wholeness, through the wholeness, as the wholeness. And to more confidently recognize how reliable this wholeness is, how reliable this ease is, reliable this awareness is, this presence is. Sometimes we Imagine that we can rely on our mental constructs, that we can rely on mind and its wondrous powers to separate, categorize, compare, measure, describe. Wondrous, wondrous, wondrous powers. And so we look to mind to tell us where peace is. We look to mind to tell us where well-being is. And on occasions it'll deliver the goods, but most of the time it don't. And if it does deliver the goods, it's fleeting. Have you noticed? Fleetwood Mac. Oh, I love me some Fleetwood Mac. Hey, Fleetwood Mac. Fleeting. And then we assume that maybe mind isn't so reliable, especially if we tell the truth. Lift this up a little bit. How's that?
We don't know yet.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't have my beloved. Oh, I love looking at myself in the past. What up, Ash in the past? Slight delay. We rely on mind. We rely on technology. We rely on our emotions. So we innocently imagine that we can control our emotions. If I can only have a particular state, I can only be happy all the time. And then there's like a mix, some murky, brackish water of mind and emotions. I only have the best thoughts, then I'll have the best emotions. And if I just affirm it long enough and hard enough and truer enough and do it from my soul marrow, my bone marrow enough, it'll stick. One day that pasta's gonna stick on that wall and I'm gonna be good. And we rely on all these perfectly unreliable appearances. So sweet, so innocent. Everything about our world, so much about our world, encourages us to rely on things that naturally, by their very nature, come and go, that naturally appear one moment and disappear the next moment. Blessedly so, sacredly so, perfectly so, lovingly so. Loving. And if we're in a spiritual subculture and we have any idea of energy or vibration, we innocently rely on vibration to deliver the goods. If I can just get the right frequency and tune into the right high vibe radio station of the cosmos, then, and okay, I'm in it. I'm in the high vibe radio station. Don't mess with my voice. Don't come for me. Don't even say it. Don't even smell it. Don't even taste it. Don't even speak it. You know, it's like we're in the space of protection and defense. Innocent, wonderful. All of these things have their place in the dream world. And if there is somehow, by some grace, arisen in you this desire for that which ends, subsumes all desire, this longing, this opening for liberation, for true freedom. What a gift. What a gift this moment is to itself. To discover and explore, and from a space of curiosity, experiment with what is reliable right now. What is reliable? Usually, when we rely on mind, we're really putting a lot of attention on story. Story is anything that can be described, anything that can be told. As they say in the Tao can never be told. So anything that can be told, anything that can, wondrous, adventurous. How exciting the Netflix of the sacred, the Gaia of the sacred, the Hulu, the Max, the Showtime. Showtime at the Apollo. Da-da-da. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Mm. So we pay attention to someone going somewhere. Now, story is story. Doesn't matter what twist we give it, whether we're just believing ourselves to be a human being going somewhere, or believing ourselves to be a seventh dimensional being going somewhere, or an 11th density being going somewhere, or a cosmic mist going somewhere. Wondrous, wondrous, wondrous assumption of identity, space, time, and cause and effect. The three pillars of mind, the three pillars of the adventure, the celebration. Any sense of separation is a celebration. It's the confetti, confetti, all of it announcing the wholeness that is, that never went anywhere, that has never been dampened, that has never been diluted, that has never been scraped or scratched. A purity of being, a purity of being that is our very nature. It gets overlooked because we're so enamored with the dream of time, the dream of a second ago. There's never once been a second ago. The dream of a second from now. There has never once been a second from now. And so we just don't notice, this moment, every atom in its place, every particle, every wave, every thought, every dream, every energetic matrix, every angel, every guide, every beloved in its place. So in satsang, we just get familiar with the sacred that is here. Not the sacred that we have to somehow spiritually jimmy rig to bring together, or that we have to manifest, or that we have to evoke, or that we have to call down or call through. Thankfully, this that is, again, not dependent on anyone's degree of mastery or humanity, just is. Hallelujah, just is, just is, just is. I love it. So sweet. I don't gotta do nothing to be here, to rest here, to love here, to be available here. I don't gotta do nothing. I don't gotta think nothing. I don't gotta understand nothing. I don't gotta piece together nothing. I don't gotta fix nothing. I don't gotta Rubik's Cube my chakras, nothing. I don't gotta do nothing. It's like, oh wow. Just like this? Yes. Just so? Yes. The suchness as is? Yes. This moment as is? Yes. Your mind as is? Yes. nervous system as is, yes. The planet as is, yes. The cosmos as is, yes. Yes. Already so. Reliable, reliable, available, inexhaustible, present, bright, immediate, vast, so here, closer than close, beyond the beyond the beyond the beyond the beyond the nanda, beyond the beyond the beyond. Sense of it is infinite, sense of it is forever, sense of it is timeless, and no other second from now, no other second before. Welcoming every dream of a second, welcoming every dream of a minute, of an hour, of a day, welcoming every dream of a persona, of a character, welcoming every dream of an archetype, welcoming every sense of victimization, every sense of empowerment, welcoming every sense of growth and evolution, the dance of change and transformation, transmutation. All welcome, all welcome, all exulting, all speaking so clearly to the wholeness that is, to the wholeness that is, to the wholeness we can always stop and fall back into and laugh at the discovery. I've always been here. I have never once moved an inch from this sacred rest of being. I have never once moved an inch from this sacred reservoir of freedom, full on embodied liberation, the universe right now, and delighted to love itself deeper and deeper. Hallelujah. Wholeness has no ceiling. 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 Has no ceiling. Wholeness has no ceiling. Gratitude has no ceiling. Love, love has no ceiling. Love, love. Has no ceiling, has no ceiling. Love has no ceiling. CC my playmate, come out and play with me. So sweet to open to the hugeness of yourself, the raw aliveness of yourself. That's what we discover when we tap into this option of allowing everything to be as it is. When we reach a space of maturity, not to relying on mind, it also means to rely on the strategies of mind, which can also be called the strategies of ego. Wonderful strategies, certainly have had their place in the evolution of our species. And as we get more familiar with ourselves, not just as the wondrous appearance and identity of someone, the soul print, the individuation of consciousness, but also, oh wow, vast aware infinity, ordinary presence of being in an everyday life. these strategies, boy, have they appeared to have served. But what have they served? There's talk about ego and talk about mind and talk about identity. And at the intersection of an apparent infinite space and things and places and times and paper clips and socks and couches and microphones and bodies and energies and karmas and entities and worlds and all these wonderful permission slips and modalities. And then when we really look in this moment, no such thing as anything separate as an ego. Only appears to be an ego. Only appears to be a thing that has an independent nature from the whole. And so one of the ways that, you know, this strategy of mind attempts to refuel and reify and reconfirm the dream that it exists is by being involved in these strategies, indulging, avoiding, and replacing. For a moment, consider that all the so called low energies and all the so called high energies, all the emotions you've ever had have been your very dearest and dearest and dearest beloveds, have been your dearest, dearest friends, have been your faithful, faithful, faithful compadres, your faithful companions, your allies of love. All the times we've attempted to push away, or attempted to lock away, or attempted to disintegrate, or attempted to innocently, perfectly heal or fix, or innocently not knowing each sensation, each thought, each feeling was an open door to the kingdom of your very heart, an open door to the queendom of your very being. And so, in recognizing this option in the moment of the treasure trove of human experience, the treasure trove of emotions and thoughts and projections and resistance, to stop and welcome each sensation fully. Ways of not welcoming, I mentioned earlier, are to indulge in the story. Oh, well, this happened and that happened, and this time, next time I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this, and then I'm going to go here and here and here, and then I'm going to have to do this and have that, and next time, or this shouldn't have happened, and coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda, 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 spulda, and this and that, and oh, woe is me. I always attract this. Why do I keep creating this? Which can be important questions. So this is not making any of that wrong. We're just exploring that there's other options here, which is so sweet. So many other options. And so we indulge in our story. In our story, we dance around the fire instead of standing in the center. To tell the story of the emotion, to identify with the emotion, to project the emotion onto a past or to a past called the future. We avoid standing in its beneficial potency. We avoid standing in the beneficial potency that is the gift of this energy here for us. Other ways that we avoid, other ways that we refuel this dream of separation is to avoid. So there's a sensation present, a feeling present, a thought present, and again, all of these have served their place, served their, it's all necessary until it's not. And even as you master, say that word very spaciously, even as we get familiar with how, it's kind of like we discover, oh, I am the sky. I thought I was object appearing in the sky, but I am sky like in nature. And for a moment, feel into what it feels like for sky in the presence of hurricane. Is sky looking for shelter? Is sky frantically searching for an umbrella? It's like, oh my gosh, what a sweet flutter of an appearance and the solid presence of sky-like aware intelligence, sky-like being. And how interesting. Sometimes mind will hear things like this and think, oh, yeah, that's for like 70,000 to 70,000 lifetimes from now, or once I reach nirvana, or once I have this experience, or once I've done ayahuasca, iboga, and bufo in the same weekend, which I do not recognize. Once this happens, or once that happens, or once my chakra cons get fixed, or once. And it's like ordinary as day. That's why I like to call this plain ass cracker. Plain ass. Plain, no guacamole, no salsa, no cheese whiz, no caviar. Just plain as day, this ordinary radiance that you are. This ordinary radiance that you are, that holds the dream of body, that holds the beautiful dream of genetics, that holds the dream of a cosmos, that holds the dream of a planet, that holds the dream of time, that holds the dream of someone going somewhere, that holds the dream of an Atlantis, that holds the dream of a future moment, that holds the dream of every blessed appearance that is allowed to have a full life and an honorable undoing. You, solid, present. I love this camera because the lens looks like a looks like a humpback whale eye. So I'm like, oh, it's so sweet, this humpback whale eye camera. uh, Indulging, avoiding. When we avoid, we know what avoidance is like. Goodness, we've become masters of avoidance. We move to the Netflix, we move to the cheese whiz, we move to the sex, we move to the drugs, we move to the identity, we move to the better story. And again, all of this has their place. None of that is wrong or bad or evil, or it's all necessary. It's all beneficial, all necessary until it's not. And everything serves. Every dream serves. Every identity serves. Every assumption serves. Every unquestioned thought serves. So oh gosh, that's support that's here. Endless support when we discover, oh my gosh, this has been for my good. 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 And if it's for my good, it's for the good of the whole. That's how goodness works. All inclusive goodness, all inclusive support. Oh. And so then we recognize, oh, I'm indulging. And right now I'm just going to stop and allow that to happen and notice awareness here. Notice presence. Oh, mind might indulge. Yes. Just like a bamboo might be a bamboo, or a cockadoodle doo might be a cockadoodle doo. Mind will be mind. Mind is going to tell stories. Mind is going to project. Mind is going to assume. Mind is going to deduce. Mind is going to uh, add and subtract and create and conspire and imagine and elaborate. There's so much room for this blessed weather of mind to be itself. And the sky that you are, the wellness that you are, the well being that you are, the wholeness that you are, unscathed, present, unscathed in its complete willingness to be completely scathed. I don't want this to sound like some mind's version of perfection or mind's version of untouchability. This wholeness, this sky nature is forever willing to be broken, forever willing to be torn to bits and pieces, forever willing to be stained and tarnished. And in that willingness, the purity of that willingness, it just has never happened. Purity still here, love still here, sky-like intelligence still here, wisdom still here, reliable, reliable. Speaking of that spiritual subculture earlier, another way that we overlook and postpone getting familiar with the intelligence of our nature, the wholeness of what is when we move into the strategy of replacing a negative with a positive. Again, these strategies have served their role in this dream of our lives and will serve their role again in the future. So open, so willing, and looking forward to all the apparent ways that this moment can say, I love you to itself, all the apparent circumstances. But to get familiar with this wholeness that is, this freedom that isn't bound to the conditions of strategy, this freedom that isn't bound to the dream of time or cause and effect, this freedom that is, we notice replacing starting to happen. You know, when we replace, we want to replace a negative with a positive, replace bad thought with a good thought, a bad place with a good place, or if your kink is the other way around, that too. You know, so fun, so free, and how free, you know, freedom is so free. We're free to completely suffer, and we're free to notice the awakeness that is, the wholeness that is. But as soon as replacing gets into play, we can say, oh, hi, replacing, and stop and just rest as the wholeness that is. Oh, replacing's happening. Mind, you do so well at replacing. Oh my goodness. It hasn't ever gotten you anywhere, but boy, do you do such a good job at replacing. You know, this unconscious mind, this appearance, this sense of an ego, separate self, in our getting familiar with this wholeness, we discover it's this delightful, transparent, rosy cheeked, chocolate smeared face toddler sitting on the lap of forever grandma, sitting on the lap of the blessed being that you are, where there's never been a problem. It's like, oh yeah, I understand. It seems like there's a big problem. I understand it seems like there's a scary story. I understand it seems like there's a horrible nightmare. And all is well, and all is well, and all matter of things shall be well. All is well, and all is well, and all matter of things shall be well. It's a beautiful thread, a golden thread that all the different theologies and religions have in common. Have you noticed this? All is well. Be still and know that I am. The Vedas, every other sentence in the Vedas. Advaita Vedanta, Dzogchen Buddhism, this golden thread of what already is awake, Sometimes in our innocence, mind hears wake up and imagines that something needs to wake up. And in that innocence, we don't notice the very thought of a sleep can only be possible because of this unwavering wakefulness that is. That is already your nature. Awake, yes. Whole, yes. Bright, yes. Loving, yes. Clear, yes. Clean water, yes. Fire of love, of being, of creativity, yes. Solid, grounded earth, yes. Air, freedom of perception, of appearances, of communication, of attempting to speak what can never be spoken and failing over and over and over again with absolute delight and joy. Absolute delight and joy. This is the space that cultures have tapped into words and greetings such as namaste, such as en lakesh. The awareness of me, awareness and light synonymous. The light of awareness as me, recognize and greets the light of awareness as you. The greeting doesn't say, the me that's almost trying to get to somewhere, and that if I finally do this and that and that and that and put my socks on right, then maybe someday I'll be able to meet the, which that's beautiful too, and and fully light and awareness. But this that is meeting itself. No greater awareness here, no greater awareness there. One aware intelligence here with itself. Skin line, what a sweet appearance, and not as solid as we imagine. Depth perception, what a sweet unfolding poetry of being, and not as solid as we imagine. Consciousness here as itself, with itself. High consciousness here. Consciousness delighted to be the poetry of your fingerprints and the poetry of mama and dada and the poetry of life and the poetry of drama and the poetry of archetypes and the poetry of journeys and adventures and the poetry of becomings and becomings and becomings. Human being, yes. Human becoming, that too. But mostly human beautiful. All inclusive. All welcome. Every ounce of us welcome. That which has never been squeezed into a thought, welcome. Here, solid, reliable. And so then the fun thing is we move from relying on our limited intelligence, the innocent, closed system of intelligence, and we discover the option of relying on an open, unended system of intelligence. Tapping into a reservoir of kindness. It's so sweet. It's so very sweet. So very sweet. Okay, before this that is apparently speaking continues, anything want to be explored? Anything want to be shared? There's a mic there for the beloveds at home to listen. And if anyone's watching that knows my phone number and would like to text something in and explore something, you can do that as well.
just wanted to say how good it is to come back. It's like coming home. It really
Oh,
is. It's
so
such a feeling of
sweet.
coming home. I feel sometimes like a little kid that's, a little toddler that's between its mom's legs and gets up enough nerve to go out and go play. And, maybe I get a bruised knee or somebody takes my toy, you know. And then when I come back here, it's just like, back home. Back holding on to my mama's legs,
So
safe
sweet.
and remembering it's like coming home to myself. Thank you so
Coming
much
home
for
to yourself.
providing this space. I'm so grateful
Mm.
to you for that. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so much, love. Thank you so much. Mm. Home, home, home. Ollie, ollie, oxen free. I wrote something today on Aya Denver. I think that said something along the lines of mind at the feet of the medicine at the feet of loving awareness, and loving awareness at the feet of all of it, all appearance. Mm. So grateful for all the ways this moment shows up for itself. It's really interesting how the medicine is such sweet permission slip and such sweet support as we allow it to fill our lungs and our eyes and our head chambers and our veins and our consciousness. We get really clear at discovering, oh my gosh, all has its own medicine, all has served, all has been in support. Even the things I've thought were obstacles, all of a sudden take on a new luster. Even the stories I thought were in the way, all of a sudden, old and dear friends. Sweet psychedelia, sacred psychedelia, also revealing the psychedelic nature of everyday mind. Everyone's tripping all the time. If you imagine yourself to be something separate, that is a big ass trip you're on. If you imagine a thought, a stressful thought, a belief to be true, that's a big ass trip you're on. And just like a trip, we see things that aren't there. We believe a thought that isn't true. We look to something called the past, and it takes on the hue of that assumption. We look at something called the future, and immediately takes on the hue of that assumption. Wondrous, wondrous, wondrous. The power of mind, and not so powerful because in our discovery of its self releasing nature, we discover none of it is ever stuck, just appears to stick, but this moment still free, still the great, vast water off a duck's back. Like it keeps tickling my little red hat. Self releasing nature of mind. That could be another sweet thing to speak to. Have you ever imagined that you had to do a lot of work to fix your mind? It's a powerful thought. Not everyone has that thought. That's an evolutionary leap in our species to consider that there's a mind to fix. That I want to acknowledge the the grace in that, the power in that. And you may be at a space where you're recognizing the frutility in that. the exhaustion in that. When we discover the wholeness, because we think once mind happens, then enlightenment will happen, or once mind is quiet, then that'll be evidence that I'm free. Or once mind stops telling the stories, or stops asking the questions, or stops identifying, then, then. But in noticing the option to allow it to be as it is, self releasing by nature, just as a cloud appears full life and perfectly undoes itself in great bliss. There's a Dzogchen saying that says, great bliss, seeing emptiness. And that's what we start noticing. Light here with light, love here with love, infinity pouring into itself, a well being delighted in itself. Oh my God, so much energy is revealed to be here when we're not using all this energy trying to get our minds right. It's like so much energy going into sorting out in all of these boxes: positive, negative, neutral, positive, negative, neutral, positive, negative, neutral, positive thought, positive feeling, positive sensation, positive world, positive 5D, negative 5D, positive aliens, negative aliens, positive this, negative this. Wondrous, all this sorting out. Oh, is this happening? Is that happening? But the option to be like, oh, hi, mind. You're so welcome to be yourself. Oh, gracias, love. Thank you. Yay. Then this moment gives itself a glass of water. Let's see. Oh. A dear friend says, you have an amazing way with words, and if there was a bottom line message of everything you've said today, what would that be? How does one deal with loneliness? I understand acceptance and is human experience, not about connection. So what do we do with loneliness? Oh my goodness gracious. Well, it's so sweet because loneliness can feel like such a real thing, like such a real thing. And for something that has forever imagined itself to be separate, loneliness is this really real thing. But just as an experiment, to sit in the fire of loneliness, noticing whatever innocent stories are there about loneliness. The evidence there, mind has all this evidence that loneliness is true. So it may have images of seeing itself by itself. It has images of seeing itself, having this image of itself, and then seeing itself with others. Or it will have images and narratives of a time when there was multiple beings and I wasn't lonely. I could never be lonely because it was so much and so much conversation and so much. But to actually feel into loneliness, not as something that's some kind of psychological or cosmic dragon that one needs to, or heartburn that one needs to uh, put some spiritual tums on, but feeling into it as like an orphan child, and let loneliness, the sense of it, sit on the lap of your fullness. Sit on the lap of your wholeness. So it's like, it reminds me of Ramana Maharshi, who another dear friend calls Charles. He lost his father when he was 16, and which I just found out recently. I did not know that Ramana Maharshi lost his father at 16. and he was agoraphobic. He couldn't leave his house because he was so afraid he was going to die too. He was going to die too, so he wouldn't go to school and wouldn't go to temple. I think he grew up in a Hindu family, and this haunted him, breathed down his neck for I don't know how long. Finally, he said, "Let me just meet this. If I'm gonna die, I'll die." He laid on the ground and did a posture of rigor mortis, got real stiff, and was like, "Have me. If I'm tired of running, I'm tired of hiding. If you want me, here I am." And in that moment of honest, earnest, willing surrender, deep discovery of that which was never born and that which is never die, will never die. And these sensations we could, from a space of curiosity, we may not get there the first time or the second time, but if we are willing to, from a space of curiosity, be willing to allow loneliness. Picture loneliness like a dragon that's been wrapped up in all these ideas about it being something bad or something wrong, or about it meaning something about your life, about it meaning something about your future. We'll have a sense of loneliness and then imagine that we've had it before. That's the interesting thing with thought, is that we think there's something called many thoughts, but it's just one thought about many thoughts. Interesting thing with the past, we think that we've had the sensation many times, but it's just one sensation happening now of a thought of multiplicity. The ego cannot multitask. It's always just one unquestioned assumption appearing now. Always just one unquestioned assumption appearing now. So to imagine that loneliness as this beautiful cosmic creature of the universe and say, "Oh, beloved, I thought you were something that was harmful or that I should be afraid of. And in this moment, you are free to explore your wingspan. In this moment, if you have limbs that you want to stretch out, in this moment, there's an infinite field of willingness, an infinite field of light for you to gallop in, for you to run in, an infinite sky of acceptance for you to soar in. And in that space, discover what that energy of loneliness reveals. So called loneliness. The gift of loneliness, the diamond of loneliness, the gem of loneliness. Again, we may notice in our bodies, if you feel the energy of loneliness in your body right now, or the energy of resistance, or the energy of fear, or the energy of some survival knot, or some egoic identification, whatever it might be, in this moment, just allow it to be here. That's what we haven't done. We haven't allowed it to be here. We put story upon story upon it. We've avoided it and avoided it. We've indulged in it and indulged in it. We've attempted to replace it and replace it. That's strategy, mind, strategy, mind. But in the actual standing in the fire of whatever it is we feel is in our way, or an obstacle, or a splinter, to just in this moment relax our story about it and not be separate from the sensation, whether we feel it in our throat or in our bellies or in our arms or in our legs or in our hips or in our face or in our head. So willing to be with it. Just welcoming it and maybe noticing if there's any sense of it. Does it feel like tar? Does it feel like an effervescent mist? Does it feel like a stone? Does it feel like a black hole? Does it feel like a raging river? And just allowing that energy to be here. This is embodied liberation, the depth of welcome of any sensation. And in this welcome, we discover the invitation for this satsang. So many words, I know, so many words. All of them saying nothing. So many words. And the invitation to notice the wholeness that you are. You have imagined yourself to be something. You have imagined yourself to be something. A name, personality, a gender, a soul energy, a point of light, an object, no matter how dense or subtle. You have imagined, that's all. You have imagined. Mm, that's, that's all. You have imagined yourself to be something. You have imagined yourself to be something. So fun to imagine yourself to be something. And it has never been true. You're still infinity, still the timeless, still love. You're still light, you're still light. Hey, yeah, you're still light, you're still light. I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the things ancestors did. I am not the things my body did. My mind did. My assumptions did. My assumptions imagined they did. Still just light, resting as wholeness. Engaged in the dream of evolution and transformation and adventure and noticing not nothing else needing to change for wholeness to be as it is. Not one more realization needing to happen for wholeness to be as it is. Not one more ceremony needing to happen for wholeness to be as it is. Awakened awareness, loving awareness, free now, present now, willing now. Oh, it's like in this willingness, oh, you're going to caress me with something, a feather called loneliness. Oh, you're going to caress me with with another uh, titillating tool called identity, called insecurity. Oh, you're going to caress me with this sensation and that sensation and this imagination and that imagination. Ah, willingness, right where you are. Notice the character not willing for so many things. I always ask beloveds when they are in resistance of something, it's like, all right, how solid do you imagine yourself as a separate thing in the dream of resistance? It's like, oh yeah, pretty solid. Separation's pretty real. It's kind of like innocently, to the degree we imagine ourselves to be separate, is to the degree that we imagine other things to be separate. So we'll think loneliness is separate. We'll think mind is separate. We'll think other is separate. We'll think world is separate. We'll think black hole is separate. Saturn is separate. A line of separation has never once been discovered. We've looked closer and closer. We've invented instruments to look a little closer. Get a little closer. Don't be shy. Get a little closer with hair and extra dry. We've looked close. That's all a high powered microscope is. It'll dive deep. Let's see what's here. Oh, I thought a body was here. It's a whole universe of molecules and cells. Oh, I thought molecules were. Oh, a whole universe of a constellation of atomic suns. Oh, I thought oh, particles, waves, depending on the observer. 99.999 empty space, and not even that, and not even that, and not even that. Ah, cha 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 cha. Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. Willingness. It's always with you. Just as Dora Explorer has everything in her book bag, things you can't even imagine fitting in there. Willingness, always with you. Experiment with willingness. Notice the resistance and say, I'm willing. That moves us from fist consciousness to open palm consciousness. And boy, what a discovery is revealed there. What we thought was loneliness, all of a sudden, something else. What we thought was false evidence appearing real, fear, in that willingness, all of a sudden, oh, something else. Namaste isn't limited to Buddhas and beings born under our auspicious stars. Namaste can be applied to everything in the cosmos. Every thought, namaste. Every feeling, namaste. Oh, I thought you were loneliness, and now I see your true nature. Oh, I thought you were terror, and now I see your true nature. Oh, I thought you were, and now I see your true nature. Hmm. Hmm. Rest, available. All spiritual is the invitation to discover there's nothing more powerful than an ordinary, available human being. Ordinary, available human being. When we're not caught up in trying to change the weather, control the weather of phenomena, the power in the universe, right where you sit, just as you're dressed. And all those things we thought we had to change reveal to be golden bridges connecting directly to each heart in the universe. Inseparable as divinity, inseparable as the absurdity of mind. I'm trying to understand how replacing a negative with a positive as bad. Okay, again, let me clarify. None of those strategies are bad, beloved. Keep on doing the strategies. Mind is going to keep on doing the strategies. So, okay. It's the exploration that you're not limited to those strategies. It's not bad. And there's another option. And there's another option. If we want to get more and more familiar with the stability of ourselves as wholeness, as an unwavering peace, as liberation itself, we recognize we get skillful means in noticing mind strategy. And the three strategies that refuel the assumption of identity, of separation, are indulging in story, avoiding, and replacing. Nothing wrong with them. They're not bad. Innocent, delightful innocence. All kinds of trouble happens in the world because of this innocence. Atrocities happen because of this innocence. Wars unfold because of this innocence. And you have the power to end that war, that butterfly effect, right where you are. This is what is known as being the peace you wish to see in the world. This is what is known as taking responsibility for your experience. Not taking responsibility is indulging in our thoughts. Oh my goodness, and this and that and that, and they should have said that, and they made me angry, and they hurt me, and they made me feel this, and they ruined me, and they broke me, and I'm gonna spite them, and I'm gonna get back to them, and I'm gonna get revenge, and this, however it may unfold, not bad, innocent. That's what mind does. And we don't do better till we know better. Innocent. And then we can recognize, oh, wow, indulging is happening. I ain't buying it. Go on telling your story. I am solid still right here. You're allowed to be yourself. Allowing it to be itself, we discover self releases. Oh, and what remains? Wisdom remains. When we are trying to indulge, our actions are informed by very limited intelligence. Oh, I'm going to do this so this doesn't happen, and I'm going to do this, and we're running around like a chicken with our heads off. We know what that feels like. We know the stress of that. We know the fear of that. We know the desperation in that. Innocent, not bad. And we have other options available to us. You are also infinite wisdom. You are not just someone making decisions based off of very limited pros and cons. There's a vast intelligence here that knows beyond anything any mind can know. And that's trustworthy. We discover, oh, this intelligence is trustworthy. It's like, oh, God is trustworthy. The sacred is trustworthy. The holy presence of being is trustworthy. Not knowing is trustworthy. The don't know mind, trustworthy. Not having to know, trustworthy. So, yeah, not at all bad. Serves. Everything serves. If replacing is serving, replace to no end. Replace. And then take little short moments, as my friend Candace of Denver, aka ZG Rinpoche, likes to say, short moments of awareness, repeated many times, reveals itself to be continuous. Short moments, repeated many times. What's a short moment? A short moment of infinite allowing, a short moment of stopping and giving permission for the weather of phenomena to be the weather of phenomena. A short moment of resting as awareness, a short moment of resting as unknown presence, a short moment of openness, a short moment of not having to know. Thanks for the suggestion, mind, and that's probably not true. Thanks for the suggestion, mind, and that's probably not true. Thanks for the suggestion, world, and that's probably not true. I don't have to believe that right now. A short moment, getting familiar, it becomes continuous, reveals itself to be continuous because we discover this is always here. This is not something that is come or gone. It's reliable, solid, aware, loving intelligence. I, I could find over and over again until I discover I've always been this. It is my very nature, not something a thought of me is tapping into or going to the gas station for, but inseparable from my being. I am light. This is light. Awareness is light. You are light. And all that appears in light is light. Light, only ingredient in the cosmos. Inseparable brightness. And what an aloneness of bliss this is. Infinite love here with itself, as chair, as couch, as microphone, as chords, as humpback whale eye camera, as beloveds. It's like everything the beloved. I appreciate those questions. Mm. Mm. It's so radical to some degree, this invitation. Everything about not just our regular mundane worlds, but even our spiritual worlds tell us there's someone here that needs to fix something and change something in order to get somewhere else. Or there's certain levels you need to get to, or certain robotic elves you need to speak to, or certain blue avians that need to come and save us, or certain there's so many wondrous narratives we don't notice. Oh wow, same. The wondrous display, the dynamic energy of freedom, the dynamic energy of thought, of mind. And in emphasizing that as reality, innocently overlooking wholeness, ease, peace, bottomless peace. We get to live as the example for the dream of humanity, tapping into unsustainable sources of energy. You know, when we rely on our thought, we are tapping into coal and tapping into crude oils and tapping into unsustainable sources of energy. Pollutants. Innocent, not bad. Not knowing free energy. Even before Tesla discovered it, even before any poetic exploration of technologies discover it, free energy already the case as who you are now. And then we live it, and the world reflects that back in more and more obvious ways. Abundance is here, and may it be more and more obvious. Love is here, and may it be more and more obvious. Freedom here, and may it be more and more obvious. Wholeness here, and may it be more and more obvious. And then we laugh and discover, oh shit, it's completely obvious. Becoming accustomed to the obvious. see what time it is. 8:22. Thank you all so much for this sweet sad song. Thank you so much. Mm. Just feel into this thank you. This thank you doesn't stop saying thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, every thought. Thank you, every feeling. Thank you, every circumstance. Thank you, every unfolding. Thank you, every dream. Thank you, every sensation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All serves. All serves. Thank you, India. Thank you, clarity. Thank you, silence. Thank you, Alanis Morissette. Oh, so fun. So fun. All right, beloveds. Thank you so much. Just quick announcements. Uh, what are some of the announcements? We have beautiful ayahuasca ceremonies once a month here in Boulder, Colorado. Leafandivine.org. Beautiful, safe community, such support, such sweet celebration of medicine, of mind, of what is. Explore that option. Private sessions are available in that space. Also, Bodhi and I have a psilocybin retreat September 28th, 29th, 30th to October 1st, happening in Copper Mountain, which is in between Frisco and Breckenridge. And it's going to be 4 days, 2 days, 2 ceremonies, and we're doing an all is onesie tea party, ecstatic dance before our ceremony with a delicious breakfast and integration. So we invite people to bring their onesie of their choice. And we'll have an all is onesie dance party. It's gonna be really sweet. And nature walks. The area is so beautiful. So yeah, haven't promoted it yet, but this is the first time mentioning it. So if there's any interest, please reach out to me for that option in beautiful Frisco, Colorado. Again, end of September, beginning of October, for this 4-day retreat. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Yay. I think we're good. Thank you so much. Your blessings. If you'd like to leave a donation online, you're free to do that. Venmo is Ash-Ruiz. And if you'd like to leave a donation here, you're free to leave it right by Charles on the record player. All right, love y'all. Thank you. Bye. Yay. I don't have my sound, beloved, today.
You're still going.
I know. Here I am, the past.
Yeah, there we go.
I guess I watched the. Have you watched the James Webb Telescope documentary?
It
It's fantastic.
Oh, really?
Shit.
just came
So
out.
in the
Did this come
first
out?
picture, you know the first picture of the James Webb Telescope that showed all the universes, not the Hubble, but the James Webb